In this presentation, I will be introducing you to the most basics of freshwater fishing. These are just the basics. There's obviously a lot more to learn. This is just for someone who wants to get into fishing and doesn't really know a lot about. We'll be teaching you about rods and reels, fishing baits, and then fishing lines. So the primary three things of fishing rods are bait casting, spin casting, and then spinning reels. The bait casting is just how it sounds. There is a wheel that turns as fast as you throw it, and then it's induced by weight. So the harder you throw, the farther it goes, and then it's good for casting baits and heavier baits if you want to get it out farther and throw it harder. The second one is a spinning reel. Spinning reel is probably the most common. Most people use it. And it's really good for going after small to medium-sized fish like sunnies or trout or bass. And then there's a spin casting, which is the easiest. These are like the reels you find on little kids' fishing rods, where you just have to press a button and throw it, and then they're all set to go. They're usually used for beginners, and it is a step before getting to use bait casting. I've also heard a lot of people using spin casting reels for bow fishing. You can hook it up to your bow, and then you press the button before you shoot, and then reel it in. A lot of people do that. The second one is fishing bait. There are three types of bait: soft plastics, hard plastics, and then live bait. So soft plastics are like little soft gummy worm feeling baits. They usually try to mimic little fish or frogs or lizards or worms, just anything fish eat pretty much. The thing about soft plastics is that you need to hook them yourself. So you need to buy the soft plastics and the hooks, and then you need to rig them yourself. And you rig them just pretty much however you like, whatever you feel is right or comfortable with. The next one is hard plastics. So unlike soft plastics, hard plastics come ready to go. You can just take them out of the package and then go fishing and you'll be fine. Again, they come in shapes to mimic frogs and smaller fish and pretty much anything big fish would eat. And then the third one is live bait. So live bait you can find at like a lot of random stores. You can find them at like 7-Eleven and Walmart. You can also get them at bait shops if you live near one. The most common types of live bait people sell are minnows, earthworms, and mealworms. And for them it's like the soft plastic where you have to buy your own hooks and then hook them yourself, and again whatever you feel comfortable with fishing and using. And then there's fishing line. In fishing line there is braid, monofilament, and fluorocarbon line. The braid is just that. It's a braid. It's a bunch of smaller lines braided together to make one very strong, durable line. A lot of people use it just because it's very strong and it won't break. You can get it stuck in weeds and rip it right out, and it's really no problem. The monofilament it's the easiest to use. There's always friction on your line from your fishing rod, so it's probably the smoothest. It's the most manageable, that's why a lot of people use it. And then the last one is fluorocarbon. And fluorocarbon is used for like skitterish fish that can see the line. The fluorocarbon is invisible, so the fish won't see it and won't get scared off by it, because a lot of fish get scared by a fishing line, and especially if it's right near your bait, they might not try to take it. They can see something near it. And so that's pretty much the three main points of fishing. These are just the basics, and it's a great way to get started. And any questions?
This is just for freshwater fishing? This isn't for like ocean fishing?
No, this is just freshwater. There's
Freshwater or
a
creeks?
bunch of different types of fishing. There's bow fishing and freshwater and saltwater, and they all use kind of the same but different. So this is just for freshwater. Anything else?
Do you tie braided line the same as the other lines?
No. So with each line, it depends on which line you're using. You tie it differently. Braided line, if you just tie a knot, it won't stick. If a fish goes to bite your bait and then you reel in, he might take the hook and the bait and swim away, and then you're left with just your line. So you have to tie them differently because of the different material they're made of. So braid is probably the hardest to tie because it's braided and it's the strongest. Anything else?
What weight, what could be the heaviest fish you could get with these lines?
Well, it depends. Each of the lines come in like weights, so you can get 10-pound braid, 10-pound monofilament, and 10-pound fluorocarbon. So there's each. They go probably down to like 4 pounds to like 1,000 pounds. Maybe not 1,000, but a lot. They get very heavy, but they like each section of line goes up in pounds. So you can get a braid that's 4 pounds and then a monofilament that's 15 pounds, and they might be the same. They might be able to handle the same because of the braid line. Anything else?
If I wanted to get soft plastics, I have to get hooks myself too, correct?
Yes.
Does it matter what size hook I would get with like a plastic worm?
Well, there's different types of hooks. There's smaller hooks, smaller worms, bigger hooks, bigger worms. Depends what you're fishing for. If you're fishing for sunnies, you don't need like a huge hook. If you're fishing for bass or trout, you might need a bigger hook with a bigger worm. And so there's a bunch of different types of hooks too. So it's just whatever you want to use and whatever you like best and whatever you think will work the best. Okay, so that's it.